Welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge. I am Amanda Cromhope from Truth Loyalty and the Blind Loyalty Trust. We interview world leaders in loyalty blindly. The challenge is about creating loyalty insight spontaneously and about a lot of fun. Simultaneously, it is about raising the awareness of the Blind Loyalty Trust, and 100% of the proceeds from my book, Blind Loyalty, 101 Loyalty Concepts Radically Simplified, go towards the trust. We hope you enjoy the Blind Loyalty Challenge. Here I am in Cape Town, but I'm super excited to be speaking to Atlanta. In Atlanta, we have Dave Canty. He's head of loyalty and partnerships for Built Rewards. Dave, welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge.
Hi, Amanda. It's great to see you, and I'm delighted we were able to make this work.
I know it's taken us an age to get this together, which is a reflection of our crazy industry, but you are a contributor to Blind Loyalty, the book. In chapter 54, you and Ian Pringle and other of your colleagues on the Loyalty podcast chatting around, does redemption actually make a difference? So we might touch on that in a short while. But I hate to tell you, your first question is probably set by someone you don't want to question off because he's super, super smart, and it's Len Laguno.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So when Len was on here, his question for you to answer, he didn't know it was going to be you, is why do loyalty programs not invest in de-risking liability?
Bloody hell.
You can blame Len, not me.
It's funny because I hired Len to work with us at Built.
I'm sure.
At the beginning, we actually we wanted to make sure that we were this ties into the redemption piece, because we wanted to make sure that anything that we were going to be doing gave value back to the customer. So we were actually investing in the value proposition. And in order to do that, you don't necessarily want to be building continuous liabilities. You want people to engage with your program. And so it was very important for us to set out with that as a core element of the program. And ironically enough, I hired Len and his company, Kairos, to help us with managing that and keeping an eye on it. So it's kind of ironic that
so there's your investment. So Built Rewards made the investment.
So I'm going to pick up the phone to Len right after this and say thanks very much for setting me up with that one.
I think it's a good enough answer, actually. I'll let you off the hook with that one. But okay, so yeah, no, Len answered some pretty powerful questions, and then I knew he'd set a toughie. So, but my second question, I often use Built Rewards, interestingly, as an example when I'm talking about retention to clients who are starting on their loyalty journey. But you can either talk Built Rewards or any other brand. What would you say? So, chapter 98 of Blind Loyalty is all about retention. What would you say you've seen to be the most powerful retention strategy in action?
So there's a couple of things, if I may. One is, I think relevance is very, very important in any loyalty program and any proposition. And I also think that trust is also important. Mm-hmm. So when you start out building a proposition that has relevance to people's everyday life, and you fulfill on the promise that you're going to put together a proposition that actually gives back and gives value, I think you're building trust while also being relevant. And when we started out at Built, we were kind of looking at it from the perspective of what are the key things that are relevant in a young person's everyday life, and that started with rent. So we started with the problem, and then as we kind of evolved, we started to realize that there's an opportunity for us to connect these people back to their neighborhoods as well. So we started building out a whole framework and network of merchants, as it were, to all of a sudden kind of build a residential commercial, commerce platform. And now I think that is really what kind of drives that type of behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what you just said is exactly the core of like the simplicity of it, right?
Hmm.
Relevance and trust. They were the two words I heard from what you said. It's
Yep.
brilliant, but it's so obvious and it's just the way it's got to be. We can add in all these complex layers and yet it's relevance and trust. Okay.
If you lose either of those, you don't really have a program that's going to
Mm,
succeed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, my last question. Chapter 23 is actually, this is going to be too easy for you, is loyalty partnerships. So obviously based on what you do every day. Which loyalty partnerships have you seen that really give absolute best value to the customer, but best value or return on investment for the for the brand themselves?
Um, oh, it's yeah, there's a couple of ways I could answer that. So, um, partnerships that are interested in going beyond just, let's say, beyond being just a currency partner are partners that I'm more interested in, because that allows us to kind of work together to kind of tap into what's relevant. Over and above kind of just the exchanging of currencies, you're starting to kind of look for synergies that will allow us to kind of be more relevant to the customer. And some of the brands that we've kind of worked closely with on that, certainly on the travel side, have been
Yeah,
Alaska Airlines, United Airlines. We're doing a lot with Hyatt in the hospitality space. And then we're also kind of looking at partnerships like Lyft,
yeah,
which brings mobility into play. But
mm,
we've kind of taken that a step further where, you can actually start knitting them together. So if somebody is actually leaving their apartment in New York City and going to JFK to catch a flight, we can knit the whole thing together by
yeah,
basically having our Lyft partnership kind of pick you up at the door. You can use Built and Built is integrated into the payment platforms of Lyft, so you can use Built to actually pay as well, the currency, and that
yeah,
can then kind of drive into the airline to which you're going to possibly be joining.
yeah,
But it needs to be more than one dimensional. Any partnership that will go beyond that one dimension, I think brings value.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I see so many that are just there clearly to kind of make the customer feel a bit better, but you can see that it's just to try and take some of the cost away from the ownership brand, and it's you can see it a mile off. I guess we can as professionals,
Yeah.
but I'm sure customers can as well. So no, and yeah, I know that's certainly something you talk about, or I've heard you talk about quite a bit from Built, like in terms of that the ecosystem and the value add. And so thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no worries.
So you get the chance to pay back, but maybe not to lend. But have you got a question you can ask someone? I can ask someone else.
It This might be a strange question, but I would say, why do you feel like your industry or your company needs a loyalty program?
I love that. It's just so simple, but it's like, you know, the title of Blind Loyalty is Loyalty Concepts, 101 Loyalty Concepts Radically Simplified. So that's why I'm enjoying everything you say, because it's so simple, it's so obvious. Because that's
Yeah,
how
I
I
mean,
work.
sometimes people, and I used to kind of think about this myself about when we were kind of, whenever I've been building or designing a program, the first question you need to ask is, why are we doing
Why?
this?
Yeah.
And if you can't answer that, then you're not setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, it's definitely the first question we spend a lot of time with clients. So absolutely. And who can I talk to again? Who can I talk to next?
Um, Let me put Ben Lipsey on the spot here. Ben has done an awful lot of work with the Flying Blue program for Air France and KLM.
Great.
He's a Canadian living in Paris and has done a lot. So I think you'll get value
Stunning.
out of him.
Beautiful. That's super. Thank you, Dave. Absolutely fabulous. Atlanta passes the Cape Town test.
It's great to see you again, Amanda, and I'm sure we'll see each other at some point in real life.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I really appreciate it.